We're used to encouraging children to mail their wish list to Santa for toys and surprises each Christmas. But this year we're hearing about children who are asking Santa for food. And it's heartbreaking, but there's at least a few things positive we can find in this knowledge, including a lesson for some elected folks that need an awakening. Hi, I'm Joe Ward of Boxer Shorts Media, and the positive we can take away from hearing the reports of children asking for food from Santa has many moving parts. First of all, someone is listening, so let's take a moment to recognize that there are thousands of people in our community either taking leadership roles or contributing to programs designed at assisting people during what is both an amazing time of year and also one of the absolute most difficult times of the year for many who are struggling. These volunteers bring folks hope at a time when they need it the most. Now, secondly, although it's hard to hear such things, we need to hear such things. So many are working hard to renew our awareness and ask us to contribute, and that's happening. And as hard as it is to hear about children asking for food, it's a reality, and the awareness will lead to more people contributing when it's most important. Christmas is the time of year when everyone in need not only have greater financial struggles, but it's also a time when they're reminded of how big of a gap there is between those doing well and themselves. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with celebrating our happiness, our joy, and our wealth, but as Facebook pages light up with photos of amazing meals and Christmas hauls in the hundreds or thousands of dollars of value, that can be tough for people, and most difficult of all for those with children who can't share in that kind of bountiful, luxurious, expensive experience. And I'm absolutely not faulting you, my own family, or anyone else for treating their family well during the holidays. I'm just acknowledging that although with zero intention, the very public display of great fortune will be difficult for others to experience, and we should be mindful of that. But hearing the difficult things is what mobilizes people who can help. It connects the whole community to the efforts of the volunteers who've been coordinating for this time of year months in advance and often throughout the course of the entire year. And we should acknowledge that some of the most dedicated community volunteers are actually political leaders elected at various levels of government. In fact, it's often the time they've invested in assisting the community as volunteers that is the springboard for their success in getting elected in the first place. And my goal isn't to diminish their efforts. In fact, I really think that their volunteer efforts are the parts of their life that they should be the most proud of, especially if they're involved in partisan politics. There are elected people out there right now working their butts off in a volunteer capacity or assisting other volunteers with these many coordinated efforts to help people, whether it's ensuring they have something to eat or that there's something under the tree to ensure their children aren't excluded from the magic of Christmas. And they want to make sure that none of those children have to question if they've done something wrong this year or why Santa might not have been as giving when visiting their tree. Now, with the CBRM's destructively high property taxes, struggling economy, and a housing crisis that is driving up the cost of living beyond affordability, government performance and government policy is a key factor in creating the need that these volunteers are trying to meet this holiday season. I want the political volunteers to know that when you pack a bag of groceries for a family in need, they might have been able to buy that with the kind of dignity that they really deserve at a local grocery store if you and your colleagues have been more successful in fixing the broken parts of our local economics. When you supported Bill 340, which only marginally reduces CBRM costs while we're facing rising inflation and rising tax bills, you're going to have to deal with the conflict that arises when you realize that while you're fully sincere in your efforts to help those in need, you're also partially responsible for not only leaving them in a state of need, but amplifying that need. The time for implementing change at the government level has passed for 2023. So I urge you to continue with every effort you're making right now to help people in your volunteer capacity under the current conditions we face. But after all the noisemakers have stopped and we usher in 2024, please do your best to see how you can resolve the paradox that your decisions as an elected official may be working in opposition to what's most important in your hearts. Fulfilling an elected role can be difficult, and it might feel like you have the weight of the community on your shoulders. But that's exactly what you signed up for, whether you knew it at the time or not. If you're better equipped to be a volunteer, and that's more rewarding to you, that's still an option. Policy and the complexities of legislation and economic change can be left to others. But while you're still in your job, follow your heart, not your political flag. Don't limit yourself to just being a good volunteer. Your ultimate goal for next year should be creating an improved community where the immense task that volunteers face isn't as full out as it is this year, and that the children can start wishing for toys again.
Please hang up and try again.